Do you love waking up early in the morning, struggling to figure out what to do with your hair? We've all had our share of bad hair days. Are you ready for a change? Lock it and love it with Lock and Love Salon, conveniently located at 8117 Liberty Road, Windsor Mills, Maryland. Start your lock journey today. Lock and Love's professional services and artistic designs will keep you blazing in the hottest trends while maintaining and protecting your hair. Honey, Lock and Love is an experience. Once you try Lock and Love Salon, you won't try anyone else. Lock and Love offers starter and maintenance locks, fox locks, detox, shampooing and conditioning, lock treatment, lock extension, coloring, and much more. Sorry, but Lock and Love doesn't accept walk-ins. What are you waiting for? Call 410-970-3791 to set up your appointment today. Lock and Love is on Facebook, so remember to like, follow, and share.
Hey, it is your girl Pus'Her. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say that thing out loud. No, say it out loud. Forward, ever, backwards, never. No, I am so serious. I can't hear you, but I can hear you. Say that thing out loud. Forward, ever, backwards, never. Did you get your copy of It Takes One to Know One? What are you waiting for? Or did you get a copy for someone else? We are not gatekeeping information. So share, people. We gotta share. Don't gatekeep this information. I want you to share it. As you say, forward, ever, backwards, never. I want you to put somebody in mind on tonight that need a push, that need just a little bit of encouragement. I want you to call them right now or text them, send them the link right now. You do not want to be so selfish that you keep this to yourself. So I want you to share the link right now to your friends, whomever you know need a little push, who needs a little encouragement. As always, I want you to travel over to pusherlife.org. Go to the office link and get your copy of It Takes One to Know One and People Pusher. I want you to hold on, because at the end of the show, I have amazing news to share with you, the chat, and those that will be a part of the Pusher community after the night and beyond. I want you to tap in. You know, we didn't start on time, so we ain't gonna end on time. So right now, if you ain't got your wine, your snacks, your water, your whatever it is, in your comfy place, because I know we didn't work the 9 to 5, we didn't work all day, and if you are in the people business, I want you to be comfortable, because this is for you. If you are in the position of serving people, I want you to be attentive. I want you to put your seatbelt on in your recliner chair, in your bed, in your kitchen chair, in your living room chair. And I just want you to tap in. So without further ado, you know I like to maximize every second of every minute in this hour. So I am not going to continue to ramble, but I do have an announcement. Shout outs to the Black Girls Rock. Shout out to them, who will be hosting an honorary award, and your girl, the People Pusher, will be receiving a Phenomenal Woman Award. Shout out to Philly. Thank you for receiving me. Thank you for having me. To the founder and CEO of Black Girls Rock, thank you for seeing me. I appreciate that. Thank you for considering me and then traveling beyond and factoring me and seeing this as important, because this is March, the Women's Month, and where we just celebrate women, however you want to say it. If it's plural or singular, it does not matter. Everyone in the womb of this universe has a woman in their life. or women in their life that is causing a great impact, that is pushing you forward. So shout out to every woman that is in the business of serving the people. And so, without further ado, I thank you, Chad. I thank you, Pus'Her community, for showing up as always. But tonight is about you. I thank you, thank you. I thank you, Baltimore City, for always showing up, repping. I thank you, ATL. I see you. I thank you, Texas. I see you. I thank you wherever you are. Wherever you are, Delaware, I see you. I thank you wherever you are on the globe. I thank you for tapping in. You could be anywhere, but you have chosen to be right here with us. So I thank you for pushing forward, because I know that today, the day comes with so much. Forward ever, backwards never. Yes, Carrie, shout out to you. I've never seen you in the chat. So this is an honor and a privilege, Queen. Yes, the Queen is in the building. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up. And so, those that have been here from day one in the chat, the Pus'Her community, you know how we do. We are transparent, which means we just giving information away freely. Why? Because we are not gatekeepers of our growth and development. We freely give it away. But there comes a time where you're not paying for the gift, you're paying for the time. Why? Because any time that we step outside of ourselves, we can't get that time back to help you. And so consider this free 99. Might not get it again. And so I am just honored. I am just so over here, but yet nervous that on tonight I have the privilege and the honor to have a conversation. For you all in the chat that gets her name twisted, I am going to pronounce it for you. Her name is Kawana, not Kayana. And not all the other stuff. Her name is Kawana Prince, and she wears it proudly. And because I like to tell the truth, and I like to be honest, flat out, straight up before we get started. The Pus'Her has a Pus'Her. And to all of you that I talk to, and you know a little bit of my business, this is the woman behind the scenes. I am, because she is. Understand that I have the privilege to say, I am fortunate to say that my Pus'Her came straight out my mama's womb. I am so grateful for that. I did not have to travel far. I did not have to go searching high and low. My Pus'Her came straight out my mama's womb. I recognize how blessed that I am. Although she is my big sister, she respects me. So yes, Delaware is in the house. ATL is in the house. Yes, yes, yes. I will do my best. Hey, good. Yes, Coco T is in the house. Yes, we will do our best to shout you all out, because this tonight is for you, the chat, because you have been pushing me. You have been showing up to my day ones, especially my village, Pivot Workforce Development, the Ladies League of Baltimore. They show up when they can, and they are active in the Pus'Her community. And so I have to thank you all for being consistent, for believing. Understand, for those of you that say that it doesn't take all of that. I know I'm reserved in public, and I don't like to really talk when I'm out in public. But understand, greater the pain, greater the passion. Keep that in mind. Greater the pain, greater. Key, I see you. Greater the passion. And so without further ado, sis, it's me, your big sis, SM. I don't know who that is, but hey, and I don't know who your big sis is, but how you doing? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yes, I'm gonna give you a second. Like it right now. Mrs. Prince, did you like it? Like it when you get
I like it. I love it.
Yes. Oh, hey, sissy. Hey. Yes, that is my big sis. And yes, she is our big sis. Indeed.
All
I'm
right.
Sharifa Green Thumbler. Thank you, Sharif, for allowing me to see who you are, Green Thumbler, because I like to acknowledge you because identity is important. And so, without further ado, we are talking about the butterfly effects. What the CEO, founder, visionary of Global Butterfly Effects. And before I begin to probe into her mind and into her heart, I just want the cat is out the bag. It Takes One to Know One workbook and journal was published by Global Butterfly Effects Community. It is a publishing company. They do editorial and all. It is a process. You're not just writing a book. To those of you who think that writing a book or sharing your heart is just do it. I don't want you to do it like that. I want you to go through a process because I want you to understand that your past, your pain, all the things that you do matters. It matters. And Global Butterfly Effects will assist you in tapping in internally and understanding that the greater the pain, the greater the passion. See, I once was silent. I didn't have a voice. I was afraid. I self-doubted. I had insecurity crept up and neutralized, kept me in one spot, in one place, stagnant. But after I laid on the surgical table, good God Almighty, now you have It Takes One to Know One and People Pusher. So I want you to tap in. Go to Global Butterfly Effects Community.com and see what that community is all about. You got an idea, you got a vision, you got a thought, you can write it. Global Butterfly Effects will take you globally. Ask me. My book is in a country that I can't even pronounce it. Give with a Z. I didn't even know it exists. But anyway, I want this young lady to introduce herself, and she's coming out of the chat. So this is one of the women that has been in the chat, encouraging, pushing, reminding. And so you see how the chat just come to the forefront? That ain't made up. I ain't do it that way. See, you can plan a plan, but you can't plan the outcome. And so I'm going to get out of the way and ask this young lady to introduce herself and share what she brings to the Pus'Her community.
Well, good evening, everyone from around this country and around the globe. I am Corona Prince. I reside near Dallas, Texas. I am the proud wife of Anthony Prince, who I hope you got a chance to see his segment on the show. He told me he was nervous before. I didn't think so until it was time for me to be here. So you do get nervous, like you're on the Oprah show. Don't know what you're going to do. But anywho, I am the founder of Global Butterfly Effects, and it is a non-traditional publishing company. And we'll talk about more later.
Wow. Okay. You see what she brings? She bringing stuff. She ain't coming empty-handed. She ain't coming empty thought, empty brain. She coming with some stuff. So I want you to tap in. So you've been in the chat, so you know how this go.
The chat is amazing. This is the best chat ever. I mean, I'd rather stay in the chat than to come on here and talk. It's better in the chat.
So let's talk about the chat for a minute. Let's just talk about the chat. How special for you, because you have been a part of the chat, except for tonight. So for you, what does the chat do for you?
Okay. So when I'm listening to the speakers who are being interviewed or who are talking with you, the questions from the chat, they're asking for some more. Like, I want more of that. Please answer this. So that means there's a need. And the chat is saying, I'm open to receiving. You hit some key points and it's affecting me. So that means that this community is alive. That's what it says to me. It's a live organism. In the chat, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. We watching If you subscribe and like, we count how many people on here, making sure everybody. And while I'm saying it, if you just tuned in, press the like button and subscribe. Thank you. You've
She
been
can't
the
help it.
commercial queen. She has been the commercial queen. So, okay.
She can't help herself. She loves the chat, and I do too. Trust me, I understand that I am a woman that understands and appreciates time. I really do. I am a woman who time didn't exist at one time because I didn't appreciate it. But today, I am through you, I am learning that you could really be anywhere doing anything, but you choose to show up and be a part of not a show, but a session, a conversation, because we're healing out loud. You have chosen to be a part of an initiative healing 1 million people, one person at a time. That's why I'm always on y'all. Get the book. It takes one to know one. That's how we are initiating this thing. Why? Because some of us need an ABC, a 1, 2, 3, and we got that. Thanks to the publishing company, Global Butterfly Effects Community. I so appreciate it. And so let's just get right into it. So again, I'm going to remind you, you see the butterfly effect and global butterfly effect. And so I am going to, before we talk about the butterfly effect, I just want to ask you, global butterfly effects, what is that?
So during the pandemic, there wasn't too much to do. Everybody was, doing everything. So I had this online thing. It just was a couple of ladies who would get on and we would just talk about some things that were going on, and how we deal. At the time, my husband told me that I had to get rid of some books. I have been carrying books with me for years, and it was a lot. And he said, you think about getting rid of those, let them go. So it was the pandemic. And I used that time to go on the neighborhood app to put the books up, to talk about them, because I read all of them. And I would connect the book to a person, sanitize it, put it in the yard. The person would come and get it. We were having connection during a time when connection wasn't there. So that grew the thing that we had on Facebook, and it just became other people started joining in all across the globe. So it was like global butterfly effects, and it wasn't a publishing company. It had nothing to do with books at all. It was just people connecting from all across the globe, and it was amazing to experience it
During the pandemic. Wow. And so from that wasn't even thinking about publishing books or nothing like that, just wanting to do something to be an encouragement to create some type of positivity in a society that was seeming like we never coming out of this. There's no hope. You decided to safely show up to strangers' doorstep with things.
That's beautiful that you said that way, and I wish I could say yes, it happened that way, but it did not. During this year, it was the worst year of my life. I was the worst person that I have ever been. I didn't even recognize myself. Getting online to talk to these women was a way for me to get away from me. If I could be honest with this group, because that's what we're here for, it was a way for me to get away from the stuff that was going on inside of me. At the same time, God is asking me to write him a book. It was just crazy. It was pandemonium. And I was running away, what I thought I was, running away and going to connect with other people. And they helped me. I found help there. It was a community of people that was just like me. We stressing out right now. And God will put us together. Girl, I wish I could have said it so diplomatically, like I did it because I was connecting the world. No, I was in need of something. And I reached out. And God had people reach out too. And we still reaching. To this day. It's amazing.
The butterfly effect. The greater the pain, the greater the passion. Keep that in mind. Greater the pain, greater the passion. So out of your need, out of your exhaustion, out of your desperation. I need something right now. You decided to still show up for somebody else, but you thinking that you're doing it for you. But in the midst of doing, you are encouraging and empowering other people while you're going through the storm. And so when you show up, people don't see the storm. They
No.
don't know what you're going through. They just see what you are offering. Greater the pain, greater the passion. I need you to keep that. We're talking about the butterfly effect. So my next question is, so from there, how did we get here?
Okay, so we get here from I was God, like I said, during the worst time in my life, God was saying, write for me. And in the worst season of my life, I tried to write for God, but it was in my flesh that I was doing it, and I produced something. And because we had all this time, I actually finished. And I was like, hey, I did this. So, God, this is what I present to you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm sorry, Lord. I repent again because I did it all by myself. He was not involved. And now that I look at that work, which I pulled off the shelves, thank you. I look at that work and I see that he wasn't he in it. He was not even a thought. I just got to do this for him, do this for him. But he was asking for something else. And then I tried to give books. Okay, God, here we go. We're making a space for us. We're going to write. And I'm writing. And I have like so many books that one day when they come out, y'all just about watch out, clear your shelves. Because there's so many and so many things. And I'm saying, well, God, I'm not finishing anything. What is this? And one day I stopped. I said, I won't do another one of these things. I'm not opening up the file until you tell me what you want. So I stopped going into my office. I stopped writing. I started feeling guilty about not writing. And God had to tell me, no, we don't do guilt. So I had to let that go. And I said, okay, I'm just waiting on you. 3 days passed. And I woke up one morning and I heard publisher. And I said, really? So I got up, went in my office because the voice that said publisher told me so many things in my life that were key things in my life. I heard it. He's familiar. I know him. Didn't have to guess. I started studying on publishing. I started looking up everything a publisher do. I rearranged by faith my office to be a publisher's office. And that was 1 year ago today, April 2nd. 1 year. 1 year and 9 books later.
Wow.
God said that. It's when he moves. It's in his timing. And this is the butterfly effects. Every time I speak to a person or talk to a person, you get this. You get this. You get this girl right here. And when you leave me, and the thing, can I do this? I don't want to.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Don't be acting like your brother.
Right. I know. I don't want you to cut me off because she will.
No,
She will shut you down. So I want to ask permission if I can go here.
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Yes, you may.
So I asked a couple of people to join the show tonight.
Really?
God showed me something. It was a cartoon picture, but he showed me something and it was amazing. And he prompted me to do this. I asked the people to come on to the show tonight to listen. And I asked them to ask somebody to come on the show with them. Now, if we can, for a moment, if you in the chat, if you can hear this and you did the assignment, can you let us know that you did it? Say, I did it. Say, done. Chat something. Do something. Thankful for you. Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna shout you out, girl. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. We didn't get it. Okay. I saw most of the names that came up in the hey girl.
Shannon, shout out to you. Kelly.
Kelly.
Oh, Texas is in the building. Don and Eve.
See.
Shout out to you.
All right.
Yes.
So with those people, this is how we're going to explain the butterfly effect. All of the people,
yes.
All of the people who just found it out that they did it, that they did it. Just think about me. Think about the relationship that we have with each other. Just me, nobody else.
Look at the butterfly.
Think about how we respond to one another. Because I'm thinking about everybody who put their name up here. That I saw your name come. I got a personal relationship with every person who I saw come there. And I promise you, if you think about in the moment, or just your relations with me. And sometimes when we either cry or we laugh or we share, but it's just us. And in those moments, we never leave each other bitter, mad, angry, no matter how we came to the conversation. We leave with light hearts. We leave better than when we came. This is my personal life. I can't speak for everybody else and how they do it, but all the people on here, they are witnesses to the fact. And in this moment, I'm telling you, my heart is so just full to see how the people would come on a show in the middle of a week. These aren't your regular people, and they would bring somebody else on the show with them. That's love. That is LOVE in action. That's what it is. And all of us, none of us are the best people ever. All of us got our stuff, but we come together just because she asked. And I'm going to tell you this. I have some people that I asked that text back and said, sis, I ain't going to be able to do it, but I'm praying for you. That's love. They just as good as here. They just as good as in this moment. That thing you feel when you think about a person, it's not just me, but a person that you feel compassion for, a person that you love, a person that you would show up for. Look at this. All of the people on here. Watch your chat. This is God in action. This is the love that is spreading across this country right now on this platform. That same warmth is going from Georgia to Texas to California. It is moving. This is the butterfly effect right here. This is it. Something so beautiful and so fragile. It lasts just a short time. And when you connect to the world that you're in, you cause this kind of effect. I'm not trying to do no religion. The reason why it's butterfly effects is because I love butterflies. That's it. That is it. That's all. God talks to me using the metaphors of a butterfly. So I'm sharing them with you. I'm not trying to create nothing. This is how this works. The butterfly effects. One beautiful moment at a time. One shared experience at a time. I'm telling you, I make memories in my phone. If I'm no longer here in this room, y'all get my phone and just scroll through all of the pictures. You will see all of the love that has been in my life. That's the butterfly effect. Why do you consider that thing right there love? Because when I got saved, when God came into my life and turned my spirit on, that's what he gave me. I wasn't, I used to be in church saying, they said, oh, I used to drink, I used to do this, and then I got saved and I don't do it no more. I never had those experiences before I got saved. I was okay, I guess. But I was like, Lord, why don't I have something dramatic to say that I changed from and what you gave me? But he gave me that feeling, that thing that says I'm always going to be with you, no matter what you do, how you do it. I'm always going to be there. No matter how you ignore me or try to go away, I'm always there for you. That's what God gives me. So that's what Kawana tries to give the world. It's the butterfly effect. And guess what? It's not just for me and God. It's for everybody that's on here. Because guess what? I asked them to ask somebody to come. And the people did it. That means that somebody you influenced enough to come to a show they don't know nothing about. They don't know me. You came. This is the butterfly effect. Edward Lorenz, he was a meteorologist who said the butterfly effect was a butterfly can flap his wings and it can cause tornadoes and hurricanes anywhere. And that's the mathematical science. But just imagine if all of us on here would just do something beautiful for somebody on purpose. If all of us on here would just connect to a person that we hadn't talked to in a long time, causing, you don't know what that would cause. You ever picked up the phone and called somebody and they say, oh my goodness, if you in the call, blah, blah, blah. This is the butterfly effect right here. Thinking about somebody else and doing something with it. All right, I will talk your ear off because that's what I do.
No, I didn't stop you. I didn't stop you on purpose. I didn't stop you on purpose. So if your brother is out there listening,
she can't hang up on me. I'm on the show.
I did not stop you on purpose, which is why. So we're going to back up a little bit. because I believe in conception. I believe in the birth of something. So I don't believe that something just appears. I believe that there is a birthing process in everything in my life. Even if I'm not aware in that moment, at some point I will recognize it, the process. It sounds like to me that you have a village, and your village has decided to show up. And it made me appreciate my village even more, because my village show up every week and they do the same thing that your village do. If they can't make it, sis, I'll watch it later. Sis, you're gonna do good, knock it out. And so shout out to the Ladies League of Baltimore and Pivot Workforce Development, because those women and those men are my village. They are constant and consistent. Those are the people who know me now.
Right.
Who decided, in spite of the ideas that you may have, because you know where I come from, because I didn't keep it a secret, you still accepted me. And now you're on a journey of elevation, of growth with me. And so I want to just back up just a little bit, because we're talking about the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect was birthed from somewhere other than 2020. And so I want to ask you, and so this is where we kind of strip ourselves of the titles and of all the accolades and all that, and kind of get real, because there is some people who want to be where you are, but they are struggling in their process. And so you have already shared that you were in a place where you couldn't even recognize yourself when Global Butterfly Effect was birthed. Was conceived, because it was conceived during the time where you felt like, who is this woman? But the 9 months before that, and then some of us, we carry extra 9 months because we won't surrender. I'm going somewhere. The greater the pain, greater the passion. And so it is no secret. The name is the secret. The representation in the story is the same. And so it's no secret that I have a mom, sis, who I often share, that nurtured me to health, who never judged me, who loved me unconditionally. I didn't practice 7 religions, had different names, and every time I changed my name, okay, I will acknowledge it, I respect it, but your name is Leah to me. But I respect it. If that's your choice, that's your decision. All is well. You got a girlfriend. Okay. Are you hiding it from yourself because you are ashamed, or are you hiding it from the world because you don't want them to find out? See, I have this kind of pusher in my life. I have this kind of nurturer in my life. And so what I want to kind of give some content about is, what was your process like having a sister serve 22 years in the Maryland Correctional Institution for Women? What was that process like?
Wow.
Hold up. Someone that always looked up to you as the mother, as the nurturer, and somehow, some way disconnected herself from what she knew was real.
So you're gonna do this, right? Okay. All right. How did that affect me?
Yes. Then.
Okay, so when it first happened, I had a little young family, 2 kids and a husband, 3 kids and a husband. Just trying to get situated, and it was a lot of background story with all of us. But when we got to that point, and you guys were gone, I went through something. I went through some mental situations. I had a breakdown. I never even told people about this. My husband at the time, he was there. I had a breakdown. It was like a movie. I smashed everything off of the dressers and everything, and I sat in the middle of the floor and I cried and I asked God, why would you do this? Like, you know that they aren't. I gotta say they aren't. You know who the news is making them out to be. Like, how could you even let this happen? We were in the same house. I mean, I had so many how could yous for God. Um, and it was just bad. And that same voice that told me publisher was speaking to me way back then, and he said to me, "This is how God talks to me." He said to me that you guys are too into each other, and I have to separate you. This was 27 years ago. I have to separate you so that you all can see me. Trust me, and I let it go. And I trusted him. I mean, I did everything that I could do in my power. You know, all the years, I feel like I was in prison too, and still had to live life. And, you know, and I got through it. Okay, God, he said, trust him. So I'm going to trust him. And as the years went on, it was like I just watched a metamorphosis of my brother and sister. It was like God just whispered in their ear, it's time. And they begin to change. And nobody knows your change like the people, your family, and the people that's closest to you. Sometimes we're going to look at it and don't want to accept it. But we know who we used to be and how things used to be. And so I just thank God because he never let me down. And that promise that he gave so long ago, it is exactly what he said it would be and better, because we all did get to know him in his fullness. And that's whatever you call God. So I have to keep this connected. I don't care what you call, what language you speak, Muslim, Catholic, Christian, that's the language you speak. It's only one universal God that all of us are striving to please and to have that love put upon us that we could give it. There's no way to give it if you don't first know it. You don't first know it.
Right.
So I learned that love to love you. You were the first kid that my mother had outside of me. And she gave you to me as a baby and said, this is your sister. You are responsible for her. She told me that. I was 5. And I'm still responsible for her. I don't care. I don't care how old she is. She's almost 50. I'm still responsible for her. But that kind of love, it was an unconditional love that was planted that day she put you in my hand. That I don't care what you do, and you have tried it, all of it. The love never changes. It never changes. I tried it, all of it, but God's love for me never changes.
So let me say this. I've said it before, but because I've learned something new on tonight, even though I knew it, but I heard something new on tonight. Let me say this, because one thing for sure is that I'm clothed in humility and I am healed. The little girl in me is healed. And because the little girl in me is healed, I'm humbled enough I hurt you publicly, to publicly say, even though I've said this, I'm going to say it for what you shared. Will you forgive me for every tear, for every question, for every misunderstanding? Because understand, I did not know what I did not know. But today I am held accountable. And because I am a woman that heals out loud, you must know that everything that I do and I say is for God first. Most people want to do things for their parents, and I love my mother, and I had love, the unconditional love. No, I didn't, because I didn't know what unconditional love. I was a great lie and say I had it for my father, but I didn't know what it was, so I didn't have it. I was somewhat disrespectful. But as a woman and living in my truth, it is no secret for those who have heard me speak that I have a mom, sis, who took it upon herself to take me when no one else wanted me. There was in my brother. I can't leave him out, but this is my truth. And he can only speak his truth as he speak it. So I will not pretend that his truth is my truth, because the way that we are affected is different. We have two different perspectives, but pain is pain. Greater the pain, greater the passion. And I want you to know that the same butterfly effect that you talk about with your village, it was in you at 5 years old. It was actually in you when you was in your mama's womb. Why? Because God put the idea in your mother to say, this girl is going to need some help. That's probably how he said it, and you couldn't hear it right there. This girl is going to need somebody to love her in spite of her. And I am telling you, you are the one woman in my life who loved me without doubt. I never questioned it. Even when I knew I upset you, even when I knew that I disappointed you, I never in my life questioned your love. Now, I got upset with you one time in my life.
You don't do that no more.
I was angry. I was angry, but I will never do that again. But let me tell you that I love you, because what you put in your children is love. It's unconditional love. Your children were babies and they grew up loving me unconditionally. Even when they found out I wasn't in college. I was a liar.
Yeah,
I lied to the babies and told them that I was in college. And one day,
you made it not a lie.
This little boy on a visit said he was watching TV.
You weren't in college.
You're not in college. I've seen the people with their hands behind their back. And my sister looked at me and said, it is not my responsibility to tell them the truth. It is yours, because you are the one that lied. And when I told them the truth, they looked at me like, you keeping that a secret? Okay, what's next? And every secret that I held in and I shared with them, they have been consistent. Like, girl, when are you going to realize that I love you no matter what? And so I don't keep secrets, even things that may make me feel ashamed or I want to hide. I heal out loud, because they have taught me that I have not only the right to, but I have a buffer. I have a support that I can lean on when the world shut me out, when the world casts me away, when the world says different. I have a village that says you can. I'm able to speak as boldly as I can, because I know they're watching and I know they believe. Not only do I not want to disappoint myself, but I don't want to disappoint the ones that has invested their love, their prayers, their tears. I want to show them that I value it so much that I am going to live my life not hiding in a closet anymore. I will not suffer in silence anymore because of the butterfly effect, that unconditional love that travels everywhere you go. I've had the privilege to meet Miss Regina, and she is a whole vibe, honey. She embraced me like right away, like we known each other for years, which lets me know she's connected. Miss Kelly, I met her, took her a minute, but she realized I am a human being, just greater the pain, greater the passion. That we are just a body of women that are just getting this thing called life and turning it into what we can turn it into. And we're doing it with audacity, and we're doing it with the support of the unconditional love that we give to ourselves. So I have another question for you. So in all of that, and now today, because I made it no secret, although you are my sister, you do not treat me as your sister when it comes to business. I be trying to get like, can I get like a disc? Can I look? Can I get? But she has been teaching me the difference between, that's why I have relationships. My relationships today are healthy because I know how to separate our purpose in each other's lives. I work with my friends. I work with my friends. I hang out with my husband. I go out with my friends. My friends are learning me and I'm learning them. And we push each other in love. We hold each other accountable in love. And I want to know from you, on the outside looking in, what made you want to invest in Pus'Her? Because you are the first. Global Butterfly Effects is the first, besides Pivot Workforce Development. I'm saying, as it relates to investing, going through the process of writing It Takes One to Know One. What gave you the yes? Oh yeah, I'm going to pull this out of her.
I wish I had a profound thing to say.
I had to pay.
Show, but I don't. What had happened was the Lord told me publisher. I set up for publishing. One day I was home by myself, and it usually never happens. It was no dogs, no husband, nobody. And I got a package in the mail, and it was your notes, your journal, and you were just sharing to share.
My business.
These are you didn't put it in the book now, so they know it. So I read it in its entirety, and then I read it again, and then I read it again, and I said, "Now, why am I feeling this?" Now, this is her personal journal she wrote down, and the Lord again said, "Pay attention to it." So when I read it again, I called her. I said, "You know what? This is a book." I was like, "This is it. This is the thing that is you're gonna put it down. We gotta get this out of you. This is amazing. The information in it." I felt all of it. The dog is trying to come in with us. Hey, Sacha girl. So I was like, "We got to do it." And she was like, "Well, if you think so, that's all my business, all my stuff." And she was like, "Well, if it is what it is." So what happened was you came at the right time. That's why we did Pus'Her first. But the whole process of doing it was the first go around. So I got to do the first go around with her. And it wasn't like I knew what to do. And it wasn't like we're just writing and we're typing and we're doing things. It became, we had personal contact. We had Zoom calls where we were face to face. It was the setting is right where we can just talk and communicate. And in those settings, God just showed up. And I was like, oh, okay, is this what we supposed to do here? And she talked to you about, like, she had open surgery. She really did. It was amazing. It was amazing. And so from that, it became, you know what, Lord, this must be my new ministry. I just thought it was a job. I thought it was something to do to make income. But this became the ministry that is what I do. So when I get clients, authors, it is for a reason, because God told me that, extraordinary people. I can be nobody without the people around me. I am nothing without these people around me. And the Pus'Her's Pus'Her got a Pus'Her too. And she in this chat. So these women pushed me. They pushed me. So anyway, like when we put this book together, it just happened. The whole thing was so organic. It was so natural. God just led the whole way. That became the way that we do things. So we take our time. There's not, I'm going to pass your papers off to somebody else. It is God is going to do something. Why, Kawana? He gives it to me in stories like this. Girl, one day, this is my favorite. One day, and maybe 10,000 years from now, when all of this is gone, somebody going to pick up everything that has a Global Butterfly Effect stamp on it, and they going to put them together like they did the Bible. They going, with the unction of the Lord, they going to put it together, and it is going to say, in these days, this is how people live. And then these days, this is how they learn. This is how they change. This is how they love. This is how they heal. They didn't quite do it like Peter, Paul, and John. They do it in a different way, and they're going to read them, and lives are going to change. I don't care if I make a penny out of this. This is what God is doing. So whatever it is, it's going to be amazing. If you know anything about me, you know it's going to be amazing.
All right, I need a time check. I know we are not.
Mom, keep it 6:33.
Okay, so we have 15 minutes.
Can I say something before you wrap it up?
Yes, ma'am.
I got.
Oh yes, you got T.R.I.V.I.A book.
What I am.
All the way in Texas. Shout out to you.
Texas. I saw this came out. So T.R.I.V.I.A was on the show. I watched her episode with her, and I saw her coming out of her shell, and she said this was coming. And as soon as I saw it, I had to get my copy. I walked all the way to the mailbox, T.R.I.V.A, to get this. So this is the butterfly effect, girl. This is how it works.
It's a distance to get to her mailbox, Tyra. So shout out to Tyra from the Ladies League of Baltimore, who is a newly published author. Put that back up. Shout out to her. She was on the show Celebrating Me, and now her book is all the way in Texas. That is why I love the chat. That is why you are important. This is what we do for one another. We not only support one another, but we learn and grow with one another. I thank you. I thank you for that. So we have some announcements to make. But before I make this announcement, there is someone who is watching this or who will watch it later that is struggling right now with, God, where is my right now? Where is my you saying greater the pain, but where is my passion? I can't find it. I don't know what to do. I got some ideas, but I don't know where to go. I'm doubting myself. I feel unheard. I feel like, I just can't do it. What would you say to that person or them people? What do you want them to know?
I would say to that person or those people, it starts with God. And I don't, we call it different things. I have people from all walks of life, and we love just the same. It starts with God. Until you can accept love from a loving God, until you can identify that is what that thing is that'll never, ever leave you, I think it'll be hard to connect to our passion and to connect to those things that we already know that are inside of us. And it's like when you connect to God's love, it's an activation. Like you mix the serum together. And when you say, okay, this is God's love, there's no stopping you. There is no only thing in God's love is everything good. And everything that comes to us that don't feel like God's love is against his love. So that means we need to understand those things that are not like him and move them to the side to get his fullness. And in his fullness is where you find yourself. In his fullness, the creator of you is where nobody can. I'm going to tell you, I have been probed and prodded to be different things at different times. People have molded me, shaped me to do certain things, to be certain things. And I did it as much as I could. But not until I sat to say, okay, God, your turn. Like, who am I? I am all you. And he would say, you are all of those things. And you are my daughter. And with that alone is what causes your personal relationship. And what happens is your personal relationship with God is so personal and intimate, it's publicly displayed. So you don't see my tears and cries. Oh my goodness. Oh, only my husband get that heavy stuff. You don't get to see that because that's the intimate parts of God. But when you come out of that state, what you see, you've been through the fire, you don't look burned, you don't smell smoke. People tell you that all the time when they see a show, girl, you don't even look like what you've been through. It's because you see the results of my private time.
Mm-hmm.
In my private time, God will assure me of who I am in him. It's in your private time where he get to download and tell you the things that he want you pushing out through the earth, because you do have purpose. All of us do. I'm going to tell you, I have some amazing authors. I have some new authors coming up. And if I am first partaker of their work, all of your work that they write, I am first partaker. And it is some amazing stuff that's out and some amazing things that are coming out. And if you get on board with these authors, I'm telling you, it's quick reads. They don't want to keep you long. They're not going to talk your ears off and give you all the historical sense. They're going to get to the point, to the message. I'm telling you, it's something coming out. It's something coming out, and I have some authors that's on the chat.
So I let me say this. I love the fact that we are promoting and pushing going back to where we belong, because in order to grow, in order to really do this thing, we gotta read. We gotta read. And not only do we have to read, we can't gatekeep the information. Like, everybody life has value, and your process has value, and understand that your process belongs to somebody else. Once you get through the process, do not gatekeep your information. Get it out there to help. This is about saving our community. This is about healing out loud. And so you in the chat, I do this because you have pushed me and made me realize that this is important. That's why I will be silent no more. And so we do have special announcements. I'm going to let Global Butterfly Effects, my processing partner, announce the surprise.
So,
Yes, amen. Read and share, read,
yes,
share,
yes,
read, share,
yes.
subscribe. The only way that if you can't comment, the only reason why you can't comment, because you must subscribe.
Subscribe so y'all can put y'all comments out so we can read
Yes.
them. So before I give the announcement, you just said you gotta read. I have a up and coming author right now who's writing a book. It's called Wisdom, and I got it out of a book. It's about all of the books that he has read over time, and then he gives you his practical real life scenarios where he had opportunities to use what he read in the book. We're not gonna understand everything within ourselves. We gotta connect. This is the butterfly effect. The connection that we make. We have to bring that beauty part of you and drop it off. So read the books, not just these, read all kind of books, any kind of books. But anyway, I just want to say that reading is fundamental. Have to give the commercial a shout out. So I am making the announcement today that the Pus'Her, drum roll please, has another book. Now, let me tell y'all this, because she did say earlier, I pay. Let me tell you, she was the first person that went through this process, and I was not going to charge her. This is my sister. I'm not charging her. My sister said to me, let me tell you something. I have to sow into myself. And if I can't sow into myself, especially to you, then what is this?
Oh, I did say that.
Yes, she did. And then she said, and you better charge everybody. Let me tell you, I have some grace that I bestow upon people that didn't pay everything. But I'm going to tell you what, I had another one-on-one with her in the background, and I'll be taken away from myself not doing the things that I am supposed to be doing with the business that God has given to me. So without further ado, she's going to tell you when you can get your copy of Remember Me. Now, if you've read It Takes One to Know One, and you read People Pus'Her, this book is going to blow your socks off. And if I can Pus'Her read one thing, please. Okay. Let me find it. This book goes, I misplaced my identity. Let me tell you what they are saying about me. You were in some girl's room and they had to help you get out. They were causing distractions so that you could slip out. Mm-hmm. I wish I could tell you there's no truth to this. I was in her room, but no one had to help me out, nor was there ever a conversation or concern for someone to be making a big deal about. What had me livid was the fact that Villain, for whatever reason, felt compelled to blow up my spot and to make a scene so that all the church officials could see me coming out the room. Later that day, Villain comes to where I am. Grace told me to escort you to her office. I went off to the point Villain got low, meaning she disappeared. She went out of my sight, and for less than 60 seconds, I was angry because I knew in my heart that Villain painted a picture that was untrue to my peers, Grace, and whoever would listen. This was her opportunity to look like she was saving me. LOL. I know, sounds ridiculous, right? As I reflect back, I really have to ask myself, why were you really mad? In fact, here are a few questions I asked myself. Were you angry because someone exposed your wrong? I had no business being where I was. Were you angry because of how you may look now to certain people? Are you concerned because whatever reason you were in the room was interrupted? Here's a butterfly effect, really. You can't experience God's love until you honest with yourself. This will go there. It goes there and it gives you her real. I'm telling you, as I'm going through it, I'm like, oh, she said that. Oh, she shared that. I don't share the inner workings of this mind, but with a couple people, they have been vetted and God approved. They don't get to know what's going on in his head, and she gave it to us, real, uncut, in this book. Remember me. You need to get it.
Wow. So understand this, all jokes aside. All right, trivia. I'm coming.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Okay, let me land this plane. All jokes aside, remember me. I'm not really talking to you. I'm talking to myself. Remember, I say forward ever, backwards never. But sometimes we have to look back. We're not going back is a difference. We're not going back. We're not traveling. We're not pivoting. We are looking back because every now and then we need to be reminded. We need to remember. And see, this is how God keeps me humbled because I remember. I don't remember to stay stuck. I remember because I remember when I used to lie. I remember when I used to hide. I remember when I was unashamed. I remember when I made excuses to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. I blamed other people every time I got caught or every time I was put on blast. I blamed other people and I never looked in the mirror until today. And so I urge you that when it drops, that you get this book. And for those that like the tea, you're going to get the tea. Yeah, why? Because I'm healed.
You get the tea, girl.
You can do what you may with it. I am healed and delivered. And so I thank you, Mrs. Prince. I thank you for blessing us. I thank you for sharing your community, your village with us. Who is that speaking my language? Who's that? I need to find out who that is speaking my language. Green Thumbler.
That's Sharon's sister, Cherie.
Yes, girl. Girl, you speaking my language. You got my attention.
One more thing. Let me say this because you asked the question about how I got through it, going through the things when you were in prison. I'm going to tell you what God did. He sent sisters in my life. I'm going to tell you, he sent a sister for every emotion. He sent a sister for every season, every affair. And I'm going to tell you, when you touch ground, it was like all of them respected the fact that my sister, and they celebrated with me the fact that you are here with us now. So, yes.
So I thank you all for riding the 22 years and beyond, because we're still riding. Now I'm on the other end of the spectrum and we're still riding. But I thank you all for showing up and being the women, the men, the community that you are to support Mrs. Prince. I appreciate it. But not only that, I appreciate you for tapping in on tonight. And as always, chat, you are important to me. We have another announcement before we go as it relates to the chat. You want me to say it?
Oh, okay. Okay, so from behind the scenes work, we have realized that this chat is a super chat. It is tonight. I guess this is my community, and they don't really understand the concept of the chat, but it's a whole thing because the chat talks. They ask questions. We get to talk to the chat. You right now you can ask. You can say anything you want. And she would pick which ones, and we talk. So she's gonna have a segment, a part of her website that has just for the chat. You can go in, something on your mind, something you want to talk about, put it in, and it'll come up on one of the shows that is coming up in the beginning. So she's making a video right now to talk to the chat. So y'all be ready. You got good things happening, honey. You got a lot of things going on here.
I do. And as always, I want to thank everybody that shows up every week, who tunes in when you can. Go back. We are at 57 subscribers. 55 or 57?
All right, after the night, we're gonna be over 70 because I know all the people that's on here didn't subscribe already. And if you didn't, just do it. Subscribe. It won't hurt you. It'll just pop up.
Like and share.
Subscribe and share. Those things are free.
Yes, they are free. Shout out to Global Butterfly Effect community. I see you. Shout out to the new authors, the in-between authors, and the day one authors. I appreciate you. Reading is fun. The mental. Shout out to Tyra. In Marlo from the Ladies League. She does have a journal, a workbook journal that she just published as well. So shout out to you. This is what we do. So again, it wasn't as intense as I thought it was going to be because I was nervous at the beginning. As always, I thank Trivia and Inspirational Radio for giving me a seat at the table, for allowing me to do what I do, even unexpectedly. I am reminded that it takes one to know one. So I appreciate everyone. If you have not gotten your copy, if you have not taken a pledge, go to pusherlife.org. Hit that link, Healing 1 Million People. Hit that link and take the pledge. You're not taking a pledge to me. You're not taking a pledge to her. You're taking a pledge for yourself to become a part of the initiative, Healing 1 Million People, one person at a time. How are we doing that? It takes one to know one workbook and journal. Go ahead, tap in, get your copy. Right now, there is a link, an office link on pusherlife.org. Get that book to workbook and journal today. And on the way, remember me, you will get the tea. Until next time, I see you. So look out, follow me on Facebook, Pushing Forward. I love y'all. Thank y'all.
I came home and I came to the Philemon house. Best thing I ever did. They supplied me the resources to accomplish my dreams. At the same token, allowed me and encouraging me to stay focused on the hill from which cometh my help. After 90 days of being on house arrest, I finally got out and I got a job. I didn't have a bad